le repos et on chante là. It's over.
The whole world, a vulnerability is your president smile. Let's show them that we are here going.
Donc là, on a le droit de souffler un tout petit peu de ce qu'est-ce que c'est les filles. C'est terrible.
Alors, on est tout le monde maintenant.
On y retourne. On y retourne. Est-ce qu'on y retourne? Elle est passée ici, elle est passée par là, elle s'est arrêtée. La partie de fond, comme je à la sortie de la tribune. La source là-bas, vous reprenez là-haut, on a besoin de vous aussi. Pour qu'elle monte jusqu'au bout de la tribune. Sortez vers le terrestre. On compte sur vous.
Welcome back to Le Grand Bonnat and the penultimate day of action in trimester 1 of the BMW IBU World Cup season. Here's a look at the course for the next event of the day, the men's 12.5 kilometre pursuit, 5 2.5 kilometre ski loops, 4 shooting stages and a 150 metre penalty loop for each miss. It's uncharacteristically warm, unseasonably warm this time round in Annecy Le Grand Bonnat. 7 degrees as it has been for the last couple of days, but what a race we have in store for you. Heating up on the tracks alongside myself, Ellen Ellard, former USA biathlete, and coach Chad Samler. Well, Chad, after an incredibly tight sprint, this is the first recorded case of the top 6 being separated by just 10 seconds. The previous closest gap was 12.4 seconds at the Sochi Olympic Games, and well, what a way to set up this final race of the day.
Yeah, it's almost a mass start really when you break it down. 9 seconds is nothing in the course of a 15-kilometer race, or 12.5-kilometer race, I should say. This 2.5-kilometer ski loop is plenty hard in the first half. should play to the strengths of Dale Shevdal, but the 4 shooting stages definitely doesn't play to the advantage of Shevdal. It really plays to the advantages of a man in bib number 4, Johan Olaf Botten, who has taken this World Cup season by the scruff of the neck and has hit 107 of 111 shots taken for a 96% hit rate this year. How do you beat that? We're going to find out if anybody can, but it really comes down to Botten not being his perfect self.
Well, he doesn't have a pursuit win, second in both so far this season. Eyes and the target today will be on the back of Vetle Shawstar Christensen. What a race he had, Chad, the 33-year-old who does have 1 pursuit win, but that was back in Östersund in the 21-22 season.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Vetle in a post-Johannes Tingnes Bø world to actually get another pursuit win. But he's got, chasing from not far back, bib number 8, Eric Perot, wearing that red bib. You see the little red next to his World Cup rank of 2. He's currently second to Botten in the overall standings and is the best at this discipline. He is only 14 seconds back. You normally think 8th, that's a long way to come back, but 14 seconds is nothing. That's a sneeze for Eric Perot, and I think that is a absolutely manageable amount for him to take the win today.
Well, you mentioned Johannes Tingnes Bø there. His dominance here at Le Grand Bonnard was such that since 2013, no one else has more than 1 win here. Will we see that change today, Chad? There is, of course, Johannes Dale Shevdal, who has a win here, Emilien Jacquelin amongst that group, Sturla Holm Legride. Would you expect one of those 3, or will it be a new name on top?
I think it'll be a new name, and I think Eric Perot seems to me to be the guy who can do it. He is so good at this event, and he's got a lot of confidence. In fact, if you take Johannes Tingnes Bø out of the picture, he would have been the winner last year. He started in the same event last year. He started in 7th, 42 seconds back, and finished second, 27.6 seconds back of the great Bø. And I think that he is the man to beat here. Actually, I think even though he's wearing bib 8, I think he is the odds-on favorite. But the pursuit is not something you can really take to the bank or Vegas for that matter. It is especially with being as tight as it is right now.
Well, someone who finds themselves quite a chunk of way down is Quentin Filmaye. He has a victory here in the pursuit in 2021, but 20th, Chad, is that too much of a gap to climb?
At 52 seconds, it's going to require some messes at the top, some misses and messes. I think that there's so many good shooters in the front of the field that the QFM to be 20th place, 52 back. It's doable, but there's got to be a lot of mayhem ahead of him for him to sneak a win at least.
Well, there's a really lovely quote that came out this week from Emilien Jacquelin yesterday after his 3rd place finish. He said he's rediscovered the essence of why I do sport, just commit and dare without trying to control everything. And Chad, that feels like it will be particularly pertinent today.
Yeah, because that's what you need to do in a pursuit. You need to just put all the results-oriented things out of your mind. All the reasons you're doing the sport, we all want to win. These guys are all out there to win. That's how they get paid. But at the same time, you have to put all that stuff out of your mind. That is the essence of this sport. It's the true essence of this pursuit.
I have the support of the French crowd behind him. Can he use that as a wind in his sail as the countdown is on and we're underway in the 3rd men's pursuit of the season? It's Vetle Shawstar Christensen who gets us underway, and now the floodgates open. 6 all starting within 10 seconds of each other as Sebastian Samuelsson bursts through the gates, and Eric Perot now joins the charge.
And the guy that has really been a little bit of a question mark all season long is what does Sturla Holm Legride in bib 11 have for this field? He is great at this event. In fact, he has 7 pursuit wins, only the 2nd best in the field. QFM, as you said, bib 20, he's getting ready to go. Should step into the gate any second there. He's right behind bib 16 is QFM. He's the most successful at this. And both he and Legride trail the 2 best at this event.
Well, you can see the start clock there tick up in its number. We have a huge number of athletes going within a minute. It's Campbell Wright who's the last athlete to be within a minute of the leader, Vetle Shawstar Christensen. He wears bib number 21 today.
Yeah, I think Campbell just has to get into a groove and not really think about where he is or what he has, who's around him. I think he just has to kind of let his shooting, let the shots go down, not think about it too much, and just get into that sort of Campbell Wright sort of attitude that he always brings to the pursuit of that.
Well, one of the Swedes you can see push through the picture there, Henning Schickfors, securing his first World Cup point despite battling health problems for the last couple of years. And one of the nice things as well, Chad, as we see Jack Jeffrey's name as well come up into the order. He was bib 53 today. So many names making their way into the pursuit for the very first time in their career.
Yeah, it's a mark in a career to get to the top 60, particularly today. The gap between first and last under 2 minutes. It's very rare. Minute 55 to Gheorghe Buta, bib 60 from Romania. It's one of the tightest. Well, it's the tightest pursuit I think I've ever seen.
Here is the train that we will see at least for the first lap of 2.5 kilometres. So tightly packed at the top of the standings, and it is the Frenchman Emilien Jacquelin who has taken to the fore here.
That is a classic Jacquelin move right there. He's going to try to thrill the crowd a little bit, maybe in his own mind boost his own performance by doing so. Kind of a showman by nature.
He is indeed. Through they come at the 1 kilometre mark, and as you see Loma, his name being followed by Bakken and Perrault. He will be desperate to climb his way up the order, Eric Perrault, today, and is more than capable of doing it.
We have to kind of forgive everybody for the excitement. It's just so loud in this part of the course. The first kilometer, easy to just get sucked up and sucked into that atmosphere. And yet Heidensalo and Seppälä, teammates in the top 15 for Finland. They're having a good day, good weekend here.
Well, they've had an excellent start to the campaign, haven't they? The Finnish team carrying on the good work from last year, as we now go to the front of the field, and it's just 3 nations who pack out this top 6. 2 Swedes, a group of Norwegians there, but they're all trailing behind Emilien Jacquelin, who's putting down the early pace.
Jacquelin likes to try to force the pace at the front early. I think he thinks that is his advantage, but at the same time, he's only won this event twice in his career, both of them in World Championship situations. This is not a World Championship, but he's out front anyway, trying to do what he's only done twice before, is win a pursuit.
How close to this, from a French perspective, though, would be the pressure? How much can you liken that to a World Championships, Chad? Of course, when the French athletes come out here to Le Grand Bonnard, the expectation is that they will perform, and it is a challenge. So the experience at the World Championships, you probably say, would put them in good stead today.
Yeah, they're akin. I think the thing is, it's a pretty special thing for a French athlete to win in this venue. And the venue is very unique in the fact that it packs out on the course. So you see a lot of the venue really not in the shooting range. The numbers really are flooding into the course, which really is probably the most. It's the most fan base on the ski tracks of any World Cup stop of the year, and I think that actually has the chance to actually backfire for the Frenchmen. That the French athletes in the field might go too hard just because they feel so inspired before the shooting range to take the lead like Jacquelin has.
Well, it's something that Quentin Filmayer said yesterday as he came across the line in 20th. He said it was a lack of focus that led to his mistakes. You have to be dialed in. He's done well so far. He's climbed 4 places up to 16th with Campbell Wright in tow alongside him. So round we go into the range for the first time, the first of 2 prone shootings, then followed by 2 standing shoots, and well, eyes on Johan Olaf Botten, who still carries an exceptional shooting percentage, along with Bakken, who's at 100% in the prone position, as our leading men all drop down side by side.
The 9 seconds between these men, just 2.8 now coming in.
Quick start for Jacquelin. Samuelsson has dropped 1. That's 2 now for Sebastian Samuelsson. A miss for Emilien Jacquelin. 3 misses for Sebastian Samuelsson, which has him out of the picture here Who will be first to go clean? It's Martin Ponsaloma. Johannes Dale Shevdal follows. Johan Olav Botten is there as well. It's a miss for Christensen on the last. Bakken uncharacteristically struggling in the prone. Eric Perot will be once round the loop, but no more.
Yeah, well, Samuelson's done for the day. He's three times around the penalty loop. We will not see him again. Lagrade's going clean. Hornig is clean for Czech Republic. But Martin Ponsaloma, the one guy you wouldn't have picked, goes clean and quickly and leads. Dale Shevdal and Botten remains perfect. All three of those at the front clean. Jacqueline comes with a miss in fourth, 11.2 seconds back. Look how close behind those Jacqueline is even after coming out of the penalty loop. 11.2 is amazing damage control out of the penalty loop for Jacqueline.
Eric Perot comes through in 8th behind Sturla Holm-Lagride, who's found himself in a good position. He was clean in the first stage. Simon Ada 5 for 5, but Chad Plenty having to veer off to the left-hand side and round the penalty loop.
Yeah, and the fast shooting of Hornig has him back in the top 5 now. He's clean but quick, 20.5 seconds. Perot 21 seconds. Jacqueline 21 seconds. But both Perot and Jacqueline went to the penalty loop.
Jacamel 5 for 5, so is Oscar Lombardo, much to the delight of the home French fans.
Nice move by Lombardo. He's getting his feet wet on this World Cup circuit, moving up 3 spots. Back out on the course now. The dynamic changes. And it's a skier's race at the front as Ponsaloma and Dale Shevdal pull the World Cup leader through lap number 2. World Cup leader willing to just sit comfortably on those 2 and let them perhaps make their shooting a little more shaky, because the man in yellow, he is almost perfect on the season, shooting up from the shooting range.
Not too far behind there, of course, Emilien Jacqueline. He was once around the penalty loop, but he's done well to close the gap.
I just feel like Jacqueline needs to be a little bit more subtle with his efforts, especially early on in these races. He doesn't need to catch them now. He can catch them over the course of the lap, but something about that carrot out front of him, he has to chase it down. It's like an instinct that he can't stop himself from doing.
Well, he's pulled up alongside them now and even starting to come around the outside of this leading trio that now becomes 4.
It's almost like a posture. He kind of comes up, looks to his left and says, look, guys, I just made up 11 seconds on you. But it really doesn't matter in biathlon when you make those moves. And I think that is kind of what has hurt Jacqueline. It's an exciting race, but it's not particularly effective. But people love it.
So the partnership of Christensen and Lagride followed through by Vyacheslav Hornig, who surprised himself with just how good the shooting was in the sprint. He finished 9th, he's up to 7th now. Eric Perot started bib 8th, currently sat in 8th, just once around the penalty loop. And here's the big collection, the horde of athletes who are following through with Wright, Estrello, Jesper Nahlin, Hedin Salo, Navrat and Burkhalter.
So if you look at the front of the field and all these athletes chasing, there's a lot of question marks on the shooting range up front. Dale Shevdal, Ponsaloma, not among your best shooters in the world. Neither of them in the top 15 shooting as far as the shooting goes. So really the man to watch here is Botten, and he is letting Jacqueline and company lead. Botten has not led or even tried to lead this race, which is smart tactics.
Well, he races, doesn't he, with a man of more experience than he has on the World Cup. Obviously such an experienced biathlete, but the opportunities to compete on the World Cup just haven't been there for him. This is still his 17th World Cup start, and Chad, as you note there, tucked in behind conservative racing, which of course was what we saw from the Norwegians in the first couple of laps of the sprint. Do you think it will be similar tactic? Maybe not for those chasing, but for Botten, who's tucked in there and behind in 4th.
Well, I think we saw that. I think both Dale Shevdal and Ponsaloma trying to push the pace a little bit, but I think they all realized that Jacqueline had come from a penalty loop and caught them, and he's showing the propensity to want to set the pace. Well, they were kind of stepping aside and saying, let him do it, and I think that's a smart move. But now Ponsaloma back to the front, making it an honest race again. But it did slow there up to that turnaround, for that 180 degree turnaround halfway around the loop. Ponsaloma, a 86% prone shooter. He's got another prone shoot and then 2 standings to follow. He's only 70% on the season from the prone position. Dalashevdal, 85% standing, 92% prone. That's the best shooting scores I think he's ever carried. Jacqueline is 92 prone, 70% standing, much more like the Swede. Botten, 95 and 98%.
So when they come to shooting 2, the second in the prone position, it's Martin Ponsaloma who leads them in. Dale Shevdal on the shoulder, Botten tucked in there. The World Cup total score leader in the yellow, and at the back of that train, Emilien Jacqueline, who's the only with 1 miss in the top 5.
What I love about this top 4 is the possibility for catastrophe. Every one of these athletes, except for Botten, shows mental weakness on the shooting range compared to the top of the world.
Clean start for all so far. Jacqueline flying, 4 out of 4. Can he make it 5? It's a miss once around the penalty loop for Emilien Jacqueline once again. Botten clean, 5 for 5. So's Dale Shevdal, and Ponsaloma's once around as well.
You could almost feel that miss coming from Ponsaloma as he goes to the penalty loop, and now the yellow bib is at the front of the field. He remains an enigma in how he's pulling this off with just 17 World Cup starts. It's like he's been there his whole life.
Great shooting for Vyacheslav Hornig continues. He's clean. The Czech athlete will come out in 5th place, just tucked in behind Sturla Holmgren, who has climbed exceptionally well with clean shooting.
Watch out for Lagride with Ponsaloma coming up behind him to sort of pull him in this 3rd lap up close to the leaders. Jacqueline, amazingly, 2 penalties, and he's still only 15 seconds back. That's amazing.
Well, he's been waiting, Sturla Holmgren, to find himself on the podium. Still 1 place off it, but could today be the day for the first time this season that he does receive a medal? Campbell Wright comes through in 10th, just Estrello, the athlete, ahead of him, but there is a gap that Wright will have to close there.
It's a good performance by Wright so far, but there's a lot of dynamic here that he is out of control of. 47 seconds back and clean so far. Has to stay clean and hope for a mess at the front. But Botten, just Mr. Solid. See Jacquemel come through there. He was second at the last pursuit in Hochfilzen, but had a rough sprint yesterday. Jacquemel started way back in 24th today.
Yeah, climbed 9 places.
The shooting time, Ader was the fastest of that one, but Jacqueline, 23.3 seconds. And another penalty for him. But just flying on the skis in front of this French crowd. Dale Shevdal really upping his shooting in the World Cup circuit with the chances he's gotten so far this year. And that has him right at the front of the field, right behind the man in yellow.
Wherever you look up against the barriers, it's at least 3 people, 4 people, rows deep. And when you look on the big climbs, the hills, 10 rows of people. The noise is incredible as we see our leading duo come through. Johan Olav Botten at the front of the race, Chad, and deciding and dictating the pace for the first time that we've seen today.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out of necessity or if he senses that maybe Dale Shevdal is tired. I think he's more than anything just trying to make sure that Jacqueline doesn't catch him. Jacqueline looked pretty labored at the last shot. He's looking a little more labored now, too, than he did the first 2 laps. Not quite as fresh. And this might be, let's see where he left the shooting range, 11 seconds back, and he's now 13. So this is the first time Jacqueline has lost time in the first kilometer 3 times through. So he's slowing down.
Those behind him are losing time as well, including Eric Perrault, who comes through 30.6 seconds down, 3 seconds. He's lost a challenging third lap for pretty much everyone wherever you look, including Vetle Shortstar Christensen, the winner of the sprint. He was bib number 1. He finds himself down in 8:40 seconds off the pace of his compatriot Bottom.
Campbell Wright left the range 47 seconds back. He's losing time too, and he's also looking a little bit labored. Strelo having no problem staying with Campbell Wright. But Campbell Wright has moved up from 21st to 10th. Biggest mover in the top 10 right now. Lagrade went from 11th to 4th.
A change at the front is Johannes Dahle Shevdal. He now leads the way as they come through 6.5 kilometres. It's the yellow bib who's glued to his shoulder. Now we'll keep an eye on the time and the gap back to Emilien Jacquelin. Last time we looked at 6 kilometres, it was a gap of 13.4 seconds, 500 metres down the road, and the gap has grown once again. It's now just shy of 16 seconds between the two leaders and Emilien Jacquelin, who sits in third, and he's really, Chad, put himself in the firing line here when you look at the quality and the calibre behind him.
Yeah, he was almost levitating the first 2 laps. Now gravity has caught back up to him, and he's back down to earth and dealing with the fallout of that effort from the first 2 laps. And it seems really exciting while he's doing it, but we've seen it before, and it's happening again. He's starting to slow down, but 2 misses already on the day. The next guy with 2 misses is the number 1, the guy who started first, but he's 43 seconds back, almost 30 seconds behind Jacquelin with the same shooting, with 1 less penalty, or the same shooting score. Excuse me. Jacquelin can't keep that up for the whole 12.5 kilometers, and he's starting to see that crack in his armor now.
So the two Norwegians side by side as we approach the third and penultimate shooting stage, the first in the standing position, and they have been in sync all race so far, pursued though by Emilien Jacquelin, who has the home supporters wind in his sails, but has looked a little bit more laboured and is carrying, of course, those 2 penalties. The chase on by Sturla Holmgren, and he's one of the last people that you'd want to be chased by, Chad. With his hunger this season, we haven't seen him yet hit the heights that we saw last season from the yellow bib and the total score winner.
Had his worst finish so far this year to Lagrade in this sprint. He starts 11th today. That's the lowest he's finished, but he has not been in the top 3. He's been 5th, 4th, 8th, 5th, and 6th up until yesterday. But Botten now doing battle with teammate Dahle Shevdal. Both these athletes trying to secure a spot for the Olympic team. Botten has probably done it. Dahle Shevdal can prove it here.
Dahle Shevdal cleaning away, and so is Johan Olav Botten. Now we look at the battle behind Emilien Jacquelin. He's quick, he's accurate. Can he go 5 for 5?
I think that last shot missed the target entirely. It didn't register as a red dot. I think it might have missed the white. So he will go to the penalty loop, as will Lagrade.
Opportunity, Eric Perrault, who is clean and away. Ponceloma's twice around the penalty loop, so it should be Eric Perrault who will go up into third. Here's Christensen now. Eric Perrault into third in a podium spot with just 1 miss out of the 15 targets so far. He's followed through by his compatriot Emilien Jacquelin, who's missed 1 in each visit so far.
Great performance by Perrault, trying to take home a chance from shooting point 3. A chance at a win here. He's 22.7 seconds back. Campbell Wright that has his first miss of the day and will go to the penalty loop. Samuelson finally goes clean, but it's too late. And Strelo just keeps moving through the field. Clean again is Strelo from 13th to 8th.
Yeah, starts at bib 13. A decent climb so far. The 2 Swedes side by side, Samuelson and Ponceloma. Even Salo 13th.
Good look at Johan Olav Botten's shooting. Look at that prone hits. This is some solid standing shooting. At least 3 of those would have gone down with the prone targets. Were up. Amazing shooting. Though the Shevdal not quite as accurate, but it doesn't need to be. There's no extra bonus for being in the center.
And still, nothing to separate the top two Norwegians. 15 out of 15 from both so far. Will we see either come away with a perfect shooting day? It looks highly likely if they can keep up and replicate what they've done in the last stage.
If you reflect on what we saw with where the shots were landing for Button from standing position, 3 of those shots are clearly prone ring hits. I mean, that is just amazing level of composure at this point in the race. He's been racing for roughly 19 minutes, and he has the dexterity to hit at a rate that is good enough to hit the prone targets. It's amazing.
And it is Johannes Dale-Skjevdal who is pushing on here, pushing the pace, and, well, looking to become the only man other than Johannes Tingesbo to win twice at Le Grand Bonnard.
The gap between Botton's exhibited skiing speed this year and Dale-Skjevdal is negligible. On the statistics, it's about a 0.5% difference between Dale-Skjevdal and Button. They're ranked 1st and 4th in the overall World Cup standings for ski speed. The only people in there with him is Samuelsson, who's further back in the field, and Ponsiluoma, who was there but has now faltered. So the two Norwegians do battle, sharpening each other's swords and going to the ultimate sword fight at the end of this lap for the victory of this pursuit competition.
Ståle Holmgren through the time check at 8.5 kilometres in 5th. Christensen following him in 6th. Vitislav Hornig up 2 places to 7th. Just one miss on the day. An exceptional weekend of shooting continues for the Czech athlete. The duo of Samuelsson and Ponsiluoma, still nothing to separate them on the skis. Samuelsson just with one more miss after a disastrous start to the race, missing 3 on his first visit in the prone position. Back to the front of the field on the penultimate lap, and it's the Norwegians who are still dragging each other along. It's Johan Olav Botten who's first to break through at 9 kilometres. Gritted teeth, Chad, you can see he's working hard.
Yeah, these two athletes at the front here they're kind of indicative of the redefining of what good is in biathlon, particularly Botten. Because if you're Sebastian Samuelsson, you might be scratching your head going, why can I not pull a win out? But then you look at the actual statistics as Samuelsson struggles today, but he's a great point. He's skiing 2% faster than he ever has for the season, and he's shooting 5% better than he ever has, and he's still not getting the victories. That's how high the level has risen.
The level just goes up and up from the Norwegians. When you think after the retirements last season of the Boyle brothers, you think they couldn't take it up another level. They have indeed, as we watch the battle for the flower ceremony rage on behind. Christensen occupying berth number 5, Ståle Holmgren tucked in behind him. And Chad, it looks increasingly like Ståle Holmgren's first opportunity to stand on a podium this season is getting further and further away from him.
Yeah, he's 22 seconds shy of it. He's basically a penalty loop. Perot, the man in the 3rd spot, all by himself, with Jacqueline trailing a little bit further back. It looks tough for Legride. I think the only thing that I can think of is perhaps he's strategically still a little bit fatigued as he's trying to prepare for the Olympic Games and for success in February. But at the same, and he knows that sometimes you have to give up some wins early in the season to do that. But the question is how is his ego going to handle it? I think, and is he actually doing that? He might actually just not be able to meet the level of Botten and Dale-Skjevdal right now.
So into the range we come for one final time in what has been a brilliant battle between two Norwegians. Will we have it all to play for on the final lap? This shooting stage will tell. They've been perfect so far, nothing to separate them. So here we go, into the range, one final time. Botten and Dale-Skjevdal head to head. And a miss for Johannes Dale-Skjevdal. It's advantage Johan Olav Botten. Can he take it on the final shot? Twice round the loop goes Dale-Skjevdal, and it is Botten's race here at Le Grand Bonnard.
He will have a huge cushion now, and Dale-Skjevdal will struggle and have to fight to even be on the podium if these two Frenchmen shoot clean. Perot's on his way there.
And he keeps going, Eric Perrault, and he's clean. Eric Perrault is away in second. Jacqueline, the man now chasing, and he's 5 for 5 in his final visit.
It may pay off for Jacqueline in the end because he's going to leave the shooting range in second. Well, Dale Shevdal is still on his second penalty loop.
So your top three coming out of shooting for Botten with a 19.7 second lead over Eric Perrault in second, while Emilien Jacqueline has fought back to third. Dale Shevdal now out of the loop. He's 37 seconds behind the leader after coming in level.
And Jacqueline does it again on the shooting range. Not faster than Botten, but clean. That's the key. Botten, the fastest shooter.
Well, he is a special talent. Just his 17th World Cup start, the 26-year-old has proven that he is the man to beat this season.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're 26 years of age and you're getting your first real shot at a World Cup season, and this is the season you're having. What a performance again by this man, Botten. And you have to think the Olympic gold medals are in Italy somewhere, sort of in a destiny sort of manner, kind of bristling for this man to come grab one. Who would have thought Johan Olof Botten would emerge like this in the Olympic season? I certainly didn't see it coming.
Well, when you look at his IBU Cup scores from the last couple of years, he was 3rd overall last season, 2nd overall the season before, 14th in the 22-23 season. We're not looking at Johan Olof Botten as someone who has come up from the IBU Cup. Yes, he has the medals. Yes, he has the individual race victories and all of that, but he doesn't have those total score victories overall that would point him as someone who could step up immediately. Yes, he's been hyped about for so many years as he takes a look over the shoulder just to assess where he is. And we'll keep our eyes on the time here, Chad, because they're through 11 kilometres and we'll watch the time tick. The gap was 19.7 seconds and it was Eric Perrault. And it looks like we're going to have an excellent battle between the two Frenchmen to decide the colour of the medals behind Botten.
6 seconds has Jacqueline made up, but here comes Dale Shevdal now after those 2 penalties, and he's charging on the 2 Frenchmen, trying to spoil their day.
Well, he's a machine on the skis, and you mentioned it earlier, as the Swedes, who have typically been so fast. Look at Ponsaloma and Samuelsson. They just cannot match the pace of Johannes Dale Shevdal, who carries that impressive record on the skis, the -6 that he has this season so well, and is putting it into practice.
Ponsaloma and Samuelsson moving the fastest on the course in the 4th lap. They were 10 seconds clear of Botten and Fillon-Maillet on that last lap, and they're still continuing to charge despite 4 and 3 penalties apiece.
So out front you can see Johan Olof Botten, and now look at this as the battle for silver and bronze becomes a 3-horse race.
Botten looking back, it's a nice place to be, but this race for the 2nd and 3rd spot on the podium has now added Johannes Dale Shevdal flexing his muscle on the skis. It was Jacqueline flexing his muscle just 3 loops ago. We'll see if Jacqueline has anything left, and they all slow up at the time check. Who's going to lead down the hill? Not me.
Well, everyone looking around. Eric Perrault looks to one side.
You take it. I'm not going to take it. You take it. And then they all realize that there are guys chasing just a few seconds back. Somebody better go.
Well, what a finish we have in store.
Trying to look at how the skis are gliding. Jacqueline pushed the least hard off the top, so I don't think the skis are any slower. I just think he kind of just slumped into a tuck and didn't push over the top, which gave him a little less momentum. And now he actually is gliding up on the 2 in front of him. Where will they start to go in earnest?
Well, this is what the crowd come out to see. Races to the line, but there will be no race for gold. It's been decided. Class from start to finish. Johan Olav Botten will be victorious for the third time this season. Our eyes on the battle for silver and bronze. 3 men fighting it out for just 2 medals. But Johan Olav Botten does it once again. The yellow bib, who has made the most exceptional start to a World Cup season. His 3rd win in the 25-26 season and his first in the pursuit. And here we see Emilien Jacquelin strike. He looks over the shoulder and will glide towards the line. And the early attack has seen the Frenchman take the silver medal. Johannes Dale Chevdal takes 3rd. Eric Perrault just couldn't hang on for the medal. And look at just how quickly Sebastian Samuelsson was closing behind.
He was 45 seconds back at the last shoot. He's 22 at the end. Samuelsson and Ponsalona just one too many shots back. Samuelsson goes, if he hits 17 today, he wins.
Well, this is what we love to see. Look at this, the move up the inside. And the power generated by Emilien Jacquelin, who knew the right time to kick. And he's racing with freedom now. And the man with the most freedom, Johan Olav Botten, making the best start to a World Cup campaign. He has 46 more points than Sturla Holmlegard did at this point last year when he won the total score. Just 3 missed shots, Chad. It's incredible. A perfect day in the range once again. What can't he do here?
Johan Olav Botten, considering his pedigree and where he's been, today is an amazing victory. I keep waiting for him to falter, and he's not faltering. I remember my friend Brian Halligan, who coaches on the IBU Cup, just talking about Botten like years ago. It's 4 or 5 years, last Olympics in 2022. Brian was telling me about this Johan Olav Botten, and I didn't pay attention to the IBU Cup. And it's taken a full Olympiad for him to emerge, but boy, has he emerged in that 4 years.
Well, there's plenty, not just in Norway, of course, but across the world as well, who follow biathlon, who had early stocks in Johan Olav Botten, and while they're cashing in now, what a way to announce yourself on the World Cup in what is one of the greatest seasons to do it, an Olympic season, 48 days to go. And Johan Olav Botten, well, everyone will have him down on their cards come Milan and Cortina. Before this season, he had 1 podium. That was in the sprint to 3rd place in Soldier Hollow at the end of the 23-24 season. And now, 6 podiums, 7 podiums now, including today, his first victory in a pursuit. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah, the one thing that, as the pessimist in my mind and the realist as a coach, I see this incredible stretch of victory and performance by Botten, and we're still over a month to the Olympic Games, and that's the only concern, is like how many people are holding back, how many people are keeping a training load higher just because they're trying to peak in February. One guy who's not thinking about February, or maybe he even is, but he doesn't need to, is Botten, because he is on it right now. He's crushing.
Well, I have to correct myself, actually. It's 56 points more than he had,
56.
More than Sturla Holmlegard had at this point last season. And, of course, Sturla Holmlegard, the reigning champion in the total score. Chad, it is such an incredible margin that he has in comparison to last year. And, of course, we shortly will bring you the updated points on the World Cup total score. He came into this race with a 103-point advantage, and well, no doubt that will have grown.
I'm looking at the live cup right now for the total score. It wasn't updating on the women's, but it looks like it has for the men, and I think it's moved Perrault into second, if this is correct. And he's now 5'10" to 372. So it's huge.
Kovsky and Sjökvist over the line side by side. That one will go to a photo finish. Always great to see Everyone giving it absolutely everything in these sprint finishes towards the line, regardless of positioning.
So just looking at it, if this is correct, it looks like there's 138 points between Botten and Perot. He's a French-British athlete. Having a great weekend in Le Grand Bonnat. Qualified.
His home course, Jeffrey's over the line, wearing bib 53. He's across 54, just 3 misses today, and well, adding to an impressive weekend for the recently transferred British athlete. Started out on the French youth team, taking a medal in the relay at the Junior Worlds, and now racing under the British flag.
2 Americans across the line. Paul Schomer with 5 misses on the day. He drops from 37th to 53rd. Sean Doherty did much the same. 6 penalties on the day, was from 39th to 55th. The next period of Biathlon World Cup, we still have the mass start tomorrow for Botten to try to continue his winning ways. But the only person I can think of who has started a season like this is the great Johannes Bö. There's nobody else really quite this consistent. It's incredible.
Well, his worst finishes have been 2 4th places, and they both resulted in him finishing on the podium in the pursuits, and now his first pursuit win. Martin Zawel across the line. 3 misses, a shake of the head. Challenging day on the skis for the pole.
So I believe that, I think Zawel is our final competitor across the finish line. 6:20 back. This is an incredible final surge by Emilien Jacquelin. Almost steps on the poles of Perot coming in the inside there.
And it was so clever, Chad, to go up the inside, because it meant that Dale Shevdal, who was watching to the side to try and anticipate the kick, couldn't see him coming around the other side of Eric Perot, and it really caught out the 2 behind him. It was class racing and a really good tactical decision from Emilien Jacquelin, who has that smile back on his face. And, well, you wonder, with this new look, a new feel about him, just how long he can keep this going. He said he's rediscovered the essence of why he does it, and is trying to let go of the control that he's felt required to hold on to for the last couple of years. Here are the results, and another incredibly impressive day to almost top off with 1 race left to go. The most unbelievable start to a World Cup season for Johan Olav Botten. Very few in this position after just 17 races on the World Cup. The yellow bib extends his grasp on top spot. Emilien Jacquelin and that incredible kick taking 2nd place. And, well, that just concludes an excellent day of racing.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Jacquelin. The finish, he was a bike racer most of his early teens and late teens, and he slowly gravitated more towards biathlon than cycling, showing cycling a good sense of the finishing line for a cyclist. I think he absolutely shocked Eric Perot coming in that inside. I don't think Perot thought there was the space for him to come through, but he came through so quickly that he never even came close to inhibiting Perot, which is always the scare if you try to do what he does with the space he had. But he made it so decisive that he never even came close to the infraction of cutting off Perot's progress. So that was a great flourish. And Jacquelin, it's amazing how he pulls that off with the penalties that he had on the day. Jacquelin with 3 penalties, starting 3rd, finishes 2nd, and he did that with both fast shooting and but his skiing was not the fastest of the day. His course total time was only 5th.
So here are the total score standings after 7 competitions and a 138-point lead for Johan Olav Botten. Eric Perrault sits in second, Sebastian Samuelsson third, Tommaso Giacomel on damage control today, trying to climb his way up. He climbed 9 places from 24th up to 15th. Good climbing day as well for Vitaly Manzin, who sits second in the under-23 competition. He went from 49th up to 28th, one of the biggest climbers of the day. Karlik as well of Czechia, 48th up to 24th. Well, Chad, it's a crowd that demands, but it was a race that delivered, and just one more day to go until the close of trimester 1. This is exactly how we want to roll into the Christmas break.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a great race just from the tightness at the front of the field starting, just 9 seconds between the first 6, and it delivered. And Johan Olav Botten ended up standing on top of the pile, taking on all comers, and did it on clean shooting. And just the kind of skiing, just enough ski speed that he needed to expend to stay there. Masterful performance by him.
Johan Olav, congratulations. That was just one perfect win. Did it feel like this for you?
Yeah, it was. I felt much better in the tracks as well compared to yesterday. And yeah, completing a sprint pursuit with 30 hits, that's. I've never done that before, so it's a new one for me.
Could you get yourself any better Christmas present, not only taking this win, but also securing the yellow bib for the second trimester?
Yeah, it's. I feel like I'm living a dream, you know, and right now I don't want to wake up. I just want to keep dreaming, you know.
Then enjoy this moment. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well, he won't be beaten, Chad, before the winter break, of course, with 90 points going to the winner and his advantage being so great. He can roll in tomorrow with the pressure maybe just slightly off his shoulders, although, as we've seen, he won't let his standard drop at all.
No, he's got control of this World Cup season, that's for sure, and it's almost making it a race for second at this point. He pointed out 30 for 30 in 2 days of sprint pursuit competition, and he just keeps rolling. He hasn't missed a shot this weekend. He comes into this weekend with 96%, and it's only going to get. He might be. I think he's going to go up to 97% hit rate after today, and I just don't remember seeing. Maybe it's happened, but I just don't remember seeing anybody hitting this consistently for so many races in a row.
No, this is. I've been trying to run some stats with the help of our team, who are either dotted around the course at Le Grand Bonnard or back at the IBU base, and we do believe that this is the best ever start with shooting accuracy to a World Cup season with just 3 missed shots. It is incredible what he's done here, and the way he's been able to step up. There were big shoes to fill, and it's fair to say he's more than done that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's I don't know. They might have to change the rules and make the rifles a little bit harder to hard to set up in a way that makes him so easy that he can miss 3 shots in an entire trimester. He's got another day to keep that one rolling tomorrow in the mass start. And if he does that, I can't imagine he's not going to take the win. There's nobody even skiing. There's nobody skiing fast enough to do it either, because he's 4th on the ski standings behind Ponsaloma, Samuelson, and Dalashevdal. But the gap between him and Dalashevdal is just 0.7%, and that's just, if he misses one tomorrow, they also have to clean to beat him.
Well, it's the one thing he's missing from his collection of podiums is a mass start medal. You wouldn't bet against him tomorrow. Well, one of our thoughts, Chad, was about the mass start. He has started mass start before. The last mass start on the World Cup that he started was at Canmore in the end of the 23-24 season, where he finished 5th with 5 missed shots. Wow, what a change in the demeanour and the record that we've seen this year. He's only dropped 3. And that's in, of course, the races since the start of the season in Östersund. 3 World Cup stops so far. When you look at the progress that's been made, all the work done on the IBU Cup, but it's really showing.
Absolutely. And, it was hard for him even just to get into a mass start, because he was never on the World Cup long enough to amass a lot of points. He did get the one start, as you said, in Canmore. But he is not the same athlete that he was in Canmore. He's not even close. He was a shadow of his current self back then, and it's going to be pretty impressive to be number 1 in the yellow for the mass start tomorrow. And I don't see him not contending for the win.
Well, we hope for more battles like this as well, Chad. As tomorrow we want sprint finishes, and this is about as fun as they come.
Yeah, that was a great finish by Jacqueline, and I'm always doubtful, because I'm not in love with the way that I love the way he races. It's just he's not very calculated, and I think that's why people love him as a biathlete, because this is a sport that really pays off a guy like Button, who is just unflappable and not flamboyant. And Jacqueline is flamboyant, and it often has come back to bite him, but he gets on the podium again today, and flamboyant is about the only way you can describe what he did today.
Well, that smile as he threw off the band and the glasses to take on that final lap. He knew that he'd done something special in the range, exiting, of course, with a perfect 5 on his last visit, and with pace as well, to really put himself in the position to contend for a medal. But as the numbers joined around him, and you saw the chase back closing quickly with Sebastian Samuelson and, of course, Martin Ponsaloma as well, the doubt maybe crept in to those who are watching in the crowd, particularly those who have the French flag either painted on them, on their hats, the flag's high. But he delivered in the end a brilliant sprint finish alongside his teammate Eric Perrault, who has to settle for a place just off the podium today.
The top 6 really sort of a snapshot of the athletes who are not only the fastest skiers, but at the top of the World Cup order. Ponsaloma, the lowest ranked of these athletes, I believe, in overall standings, in 9th. Everybody else really big names now in the sport. It's a star-studded top 6.
Bib number 2 finishing third, Johannes Darley-Shevdal, proving that, well, he has it in abundance on the skis. Incredible pace to keep him in the battle with 2 misses.
And he's also, more importantly, he is erasing the doubt of whether he should be on the Olympic squad. Now, we should point out, we've heard and seen Johannes Darley-Shevdal for quite a number of years. He has never been an Olympian. He's never made an Olympic team, and he is doing that now. I think he's making the case that they have to take him to Milan Cortina.
The roar for Emilien Jacquelin. Who delivers the silver medal for France, and in the most dramatic fashion, 3 misses from 4 shooting stages, perfect on the final, and doing all the work to erase those penalty loops on the skis in a really dramatic way. He's entertainment, isn't he, Chad? Pure entertainment, Emilien Jacquelin.
Absolutely. And it makes the sport fun to watch.
Johan Olav Botten, the man who has well and truly arrived, a first gold medal in the pursuit, his 3rd win of the season, and he continues to go from level to level. A perfect weekend in the shooting range, and that's something that very few athletes can say. He has been formidable, and will continue to wear the yellow bib into trimester 2, becoming the first man since Fourcade in the 2016-2017 season to defend the yellow all the way through trimester 1, and who will challenge him to take it off his back. Very few have emerged in this early part of the season.
Yeah, get used to his face. He's going to be here a long time.
Well, the closest challenger to Botten in the total score is Eric Perrault. He does find himself 138 points away. Sebastian Samuelsson is also in the battle. He finds himself not too far away from Eric Perrault, 3rd in the total score as things stand, but all that could chop and change in the mass start tomorrow. The only thing that won't is whose shoulders the yellow is on. Martin Ponsaloma rounds out the flower ceremony, and Chad, it does feel like we are edging closer and closer to seeing Martin Ponsaloma back to where we expect him to be.
Yeah, it's all just shooting, and he actually shot a little bit better today than Sebastian Samuelsson, but the Swedes, they're performing as well as they ever have. It's just these guys have stepped in and filled in where Johannes Bö and Tarjei Bö have left off. And, they shouldn't feel too bad. Sturla Holm Lagerheid isn't even in the picture. So it's just a mishmash and a change of things. I think the fact of the matter is that Perrault and Botten have kind of like stepped it up to a level in which Emilien Jacquelin and Johannes Darley-Shevdal have matched for now. But Botten and Perrault are the most consistent, and they're 1 and 2 in the world. I just think everybody expected it of Perrault, and Botten is the surprise.
So that concludes the day here at Annecy-le-Grand-Bonnard. The final day of action comes tomorrow, and it's another bumper day with the women's 12.5 kilometre mass start kicking off at 12:15 Central European time, followed by the men's 15k must start at 2:45. And well, after a thrilling week of action, how will it all come to a close? We'll find out tomorrow. We do hope you join us then on Eurovision Sport.